and welcome into another episode of Shine with Curiosity and Encouragement podcast. As you saw from that ad, we are looking for sponsors. So if you want to help sponsor the show and have your name appear here or shout out or anything like that, please reach out to us. We would love to talk to you. As always, we are sponsored by Soul Sunshine. If you are an inspiring, I keep getting that messed up. Aspiring author,
Inspiring.
and you want to be published, reach out to Soul Sunshine. As always, be sure to like, share, comment, follow, and interact with the show. We are here to talk to you. Susan,
Hey,
how are you?
hi, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing well. You're missing author on your name. We need to change that. Or
Wow.
publisher, something. What's going on?
I don't know. I didn't fill it out this time. It just popped up there.
All right. Well, we're going to change that because you are author, Susan Gabriel.
Okay.
Your publisher, Susan Gabriel. Hi,
Yeah.
Dan, out there. Thanks
Yeah.
for watching, buddy.
Hey, yeah, there's Daniel. Hello. Hello, Daniel. Glad you're here.
So we were not on last week due to some personal issues, but we're back this week. So how has been your 2 weeks?
2 weeks. Wow. It's been interesting. Of course, Clark's been sick, so that's something that's I'm working with him on helping him to get better, feeding him good food and stuff like that. And Andy was going absolutely crazy with him gone.
Oh, no.
Constantly barked. Constantly. Yeah, it's a good thing we didn't have the podcast last time with me because Andy would have been barking in the background the whole time. That he just barked and barked, and as soon as Clark came home, he stopped barking.
Oh, wow.
So
Animals are intuitive like that.
they are. I think he was trying to tell me, "Hey, Daddy's not home. Go
Somebody's
find
missing.
Daddy."
Somebody's missing here. What's going on?
Yeah, exactly. Daddy's
Totally.
gone.
I can totally see that. We are mid-October now. My goodness, this time is going by so quick. And
Yeah, it really is unbelievable.
got Halloween coming up, and then of course the holidays, and we're going to have our holiday show where we're going to invite back as many people that we have interviewed through the past couple of years to just do an update, say hi, have some eggnog or apple cider, and get caught up and just do a special show for the holidays. But,
Yeah. Can we do like a very extended Brady Bunch picture with everybody there
Oh, that would
on
be
the screen
fun.
at the same time?
That'd be a great idea. I agree. We need
Well, that
to
would be
do
so
that.
fun.
If we get everybody, we'll have to limit it to like 5 minutes per person. Otherwise, we're gonna have like a 3-hour show.
Yeah.
I do think we're gonna do 90 minutes though.
Yeah. Well, we'll just let it go on as long as people want it to go.
Definitely, that'll be fun. So we have somebody special today, somebody that I've been looking forward to, that we've been going back and forth on trying to get a time, and now she's here. She is so cool. She is so fun. She'll be our first voiceover artist that we've ever had on the show. So let's bring to the stage Erin Yeaman. Erin!
Hey!
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing well. You are a voiceover artist for children's books, commercials, educational programs. You do a lot.
I do. I wear a lot of creative hats.
and you're in your
I love
studio, which is
I
so
am.
cool.
I'm in my studio. I love it. It's my little cave in here. Yep.
So cool. I want one of those. I want one of those for sure.
I'd love to know, how long have you been doing this?
Oh, goodness. Okay. Well, where do you want me to start? Do you want me to start just with voiceover? Do you want me to just start with just that? Because it actually goes back a ways.
I'd love to hear how you got started in the first place. I know. Yeah. Hey, Stephen, I'm sorry. I jumped ahead of you. I know this is something you normally ask.
That's fine. That's fine.
I'm just so curious.
Well, okay, I will go back to the time I was 6 years old. No, okay. but kind of. So my dad was a ballet dancer. He's a great storyteller. He would tell stories. We'd snuggle up with him, and he'd tell stories to Stravinsky records. So we'd have the record playing,
Wow.
and he would tell stories. So my love of storytelling really came from music and stories blended, very tied together. My grandparents were drama teachers, and so there was the storytelling flair in our family. But as a little girl, that was truly a magical time. And it's something that has been a guide through my whole career. So I'm a professional cellist. And even while I was studying and while I was gigging and moving around the country and doing great playing, I always had a vein that was really important to me, and that was playing for children. So I created Tunes and Tales, and it's basically like a story time with cello. So I narrate and I tell my own stories. I narrate live, but I back myself up with my live music. And so it led to me doing a lot of composing. And no matter where I went, I felt the need to bring music to kids so I do a lot of libraries and schools and visiting artist work. So I had been voice acting for most of my career, but it just wasn't behind the microphone. And then during COVID, like most of us, we had a reevaluation time of what we really wanted to do with our lives. And I had some time to really sit with myself on some things. And I knew that I wanted to jump into voice acting. And so it was right around there I started studying and taking a bunch of workshops. And then things just progressed. And I'm kind of, here I am now. And I have this lovely blend of professional voice acting with commercials and some e-learning and, children's audiobooks, young adult audiobooks. And I still do a lot of playing and live. I have a live show tomorrow.
Nice.
So it allows me to connect with authors and kids and writers. And so it's real great.
You also did a commercial recently for was it a bank?
Yeah, I think one of my recent ones is for a bank in Texas. Yeah, I did a big commercial for them. Yeah.
I listened to that. It was fantastic.
Oh, thank you. No, I do like commercial work, but really my heart is in children's content. Children's content is important. So I do a lot of animation. And that comes from working in children's literature is really embodying characters and the vocal qualities of a character, but really the acting, the true heart of the character comes out. So
yeah. I'm working on a redo of my world famous children's book. It's called Button Goes to School, but it's we're changing the name. And Steven's helping me with it. He's working on the illustrations, but it's and he's going to animate part of it.
Oh, wonderful!
Yeah, and I'm thinking, wow, I would sure love to hear what your voice. The main character is Button, which is a little Yorkshire Terrier dog.
Oh, cute.
So,
I've done a
Yorkshire Terrier dog voice.
I've done a lot of dogs. I've done quite a few toys. Funny enough, a lot of my toys, like I'm the voice of the Hallmark Christmas ornament this year. I'm the Wicked Witch of Oz.
Oh,
and
wow.
so it was a great.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, you can
cool.
You push the button and you can hear her little monologue, and it's really fun. And
that's so neat.
Yeah, toys are fun too, to know that your voice will be with kiddos for a long time.
Yeah.
So if we go purchase the witch from Hallmark, it'll be your voice on that witch doing wow.
Yeah, it's
That's
fun.
amazing.
It's super fun.
What other toys do you have?
I've done a lot of very creepy toys. It's a very funny combination. My husband and I giggle about it. It's a very witchy, scary, gravelly voice texture and a very sweet texture layered into it. So
let's hear it. Let's hear it a little bit.
So a lot of the time they'll want to be like this, but then they'll be like this.
That's great.
And so, yeah, I get to do a lot of that kind of stuff.
Ah, that
Those
is
are
so
the
good.
the main toys I've done.
Yeah.
I've done the last few years have been like toys you find in like
I can
some
even
big
hear,
box stores. So
yeah, I can hear a little bit of dog voice in there too.
yeah, I've done I do a lot of little girls,
Uh-huh.
a lot of little girls, boys. So a lot of my narration that I've done, I've worked with authors who want all of their characters fleshed out into
Yes.
very individual characters. And
Uh-huh.
so
Right.
I did a book not too long ago. And I don't even know how many characters there were. There were probably 30 characters.
Wow.
And so that requires not just vocal flexibility, but commitment. Really the same thing what an author does, a
Mhm.
commitment to a character and fleshing that character out fully. Same thing happens on our end.
Mhm.
Narrators do a lot of digging
Mm.
within themselves of how to authentically narrate this character,
Yeah.
narrate this story. And yeah, we sit with
Listen.
characters for a long
Yeah.
time. We don't just
And then
read. It's the
to
telling.
to remember, what
Yes.
you develop for one character so that it carries over when it shows up later in the book. I mean, that's
Especially if
tricky.
it's a series of books. I did a
Oh,
series,
yeah.
and I had to remember, and we have very unique specific ways of notating character voices,
Uh-huh.
how so we don't forget. And
Yeah.
so yeah, but I definitely had to go back and be like, what was the difference between the mama bunny and the mama lamb, or the
Yeah.
mama sheep, just or the grumpy old ugly neighbor versus the sweet uncle. How did I differentiate those two voices and why? And that's
Mhm.
the thing is why would you make a vocal choice for that?
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it's
I
definitely a
love
lot of
that.
note taking and
That just
So
sounds fascinating. I would love to live with you for 24 hours and see how that works.
oh,
Oh, see
I
what
don't
it's
know.
like.
It's a little crazy in here sometimes.
so what's the whole process with it?
With
You just
with
get a script and go from there?
with an audiobook?
Yeah, or yeah, with any voiceover.
Yeah, so with an audiobook specifically, um you get the book, first you read the book quite extensively. So I use a program where I annotate a ton. I start delineating characters by colors. I make vocal choices later once I've really ingested and sort of live in the book.
Mhm.
Um, I know the tone of the book. I know is exactly who the book is for, what age group is it for, because that definitely guides my narration.
Mhm.
Um, how fast paced it is, how picturesque the writing is, like when to slow down, when to speed up. Um, a, a scene, I added lots of notes on a scene, whether move the pace along because this is a faster scene. It
Mhm.
needs faster pacing, and then sometimes it needs you to slow down and let the listener really see what you're narrating.
Mhm.
And I think that for me is probably one of the most important parts of my prep and sometimes I have to say, sometimes it only happens in the booth and I'll go back and listen and I'll be like, oh, that's too
Mhm.
fast. That is just too fast. They can't love what they're hearing. And
Mhm.
most people who are listening to audiobooks are doing something else. They're on a run, or
Uh-huh.
they're knitting, or they're doing
Mhm.
dishes, or they're in the
Yes.
car with kids. And
Yes.
so I have to remember that even if it's a picture book that has music, that we put music to, slowing the story down to let just those few moments of let the kiddo catch up, let their brain create those images with me.
Mhm.
Um, it's real easy to go too fast. So a lot of the pacing, the character, the tone, um, and then you start narrating. And then once you feel like you've got the grasp from the beginning to the end of that book, then you start narrating. And inevitably for me, things are revealed to me about the book through speaking the words out loud that just don't come to me while I'm reading it in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And I go back and listen. And so I'm kind of a perfectionist. So a lot of the time when you see a book that is 3 hours long, let's say, a children's novel,
Mm-hmm.
it takes a narrator 12 hours to narrate it.
Yeah.
Not just because you're doing editing, you're going back and listening,
Mhm.
maybe you have a cold that day, and so you can't record. Maybe there's construction out in your neighborhood and it's causing some funny humming in your booth. So there's lots of things to consider, but the process is very, it's a lot. And I think a good narrator,
Mm.
even if it's a picture book, sometimes picture books can seem like they're very, very simple,
Mhm.
but a good narrator will know that the words are just words, and that there are these messages in the words that are bigger than just these little sentences. And a narrator, a good actor, which narrators are actors,
Oh, absolutely.
Mhm.
we will figure out what the larger message is.
Mhm.
And sometimes that takes a little while, which I honor. I try to honor that for every author,
Mhm.
just
And
like I would myself.
do you have a fan base? I love audiobooks, and I used to have an hour-long drive one way to go to work, so I would listen to audiobooks all the time.
Mhm.
And my favorite narrator was Scott Brick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I
I've done a
loved him.
workshop with Scott. Yeah, he's an
Oh,
incredible narrator. Yeah.
yeah, he is. What is his secret?
Oh, he too he has been doing it for so long, and he keeps it new and fresh, which I think is
Uh-huh.
every creative's challenge is no matter how long you've been doing your art or your craft, is to always in the next project come from sort of this blank slate,
Mhm.
because that keeps your creativity alive instead of carrying all of your other projects into this new one, whether
Mhm.
they were good experiences or negative experiences or hard. Coming to a new project with new eyes and a
Uh-huh.
new heart and like a canvas and brand new canvas, I think that is the trick. And he definitely the great narrators seem to really do that.
Yeah, and he does a really good job at differentiating voices without it sounding silly. Like, he can do a woman's voice very well.
And you get
It's a
used to
woman
it.
speaking, but
You get used to that too, that
yeah,
you get used to a male narrator narrating a female voice, and
yeah,
soon your brain doesn't even know that
right.
it's a male narrator. It's just the
Yeah,
story, and that's what you
yeah,
hope. That's the hope, that you're not aware of the
mhm,
differences, really.
right. You're not
And
really aware of the narrator because you're
mhm.
so into the story, and
And
everything that's happening.
that's the acting. That is in
Mhm,
between paragraph breaks, the time you spend, the setup, the why you do that, that is
mhm.
so much theater.
Yeah,
Um, and so that's what I think a lot of the prep is based in,
mhm,
is how you're going to take that listener on a journey. As far
right.
as as far as a fan base, I really don't. I really have no idea. I love my work. I do it because I love it. I love working with authors and figuring out what they hear, because every author hears their book in their own ear.
Right.
They hear it. They
It's
know
so
what it
true.
is.
Yeah,
And
right.
instead of I love to come with an author and have like some good discussions before I narrate, to say, what are you hearing? I'm going to give you some voices. I'm going to give you some. I've got an audition for a book that calls for a teenage narrator, which
Uh-huh.
those are always really fun because that's very much my natural
Yeah.
place. But I'm 50 years old. I'm not a teenager. And teenagers have an energy about them that it takes me a little while to figure out that energy. And
Mhm.
so sometimes it's not a vocal quality that I'm working with an author with, or how do you want the dog to sound, or how do you want the frog to sound without it being too on the nose? But it's more like, okay, let's dig into her energy a little bit more, you know? And
Yeah.
that's exciting. That's a collaboration. That's a
Mhm.
true, very delicious collaboration for me.
Mhm. Yeah.
Even the words you use, they're so phenomenal. Like, delicious collaboration. Come on, that was
It is such a delicious collaboration.
beautiful.
Why would you
Wow.
want anything else? It's so yummy.
Yeah.
Hannah,
But
how
yeah,
much freedom do you have with your narration? Are you able to say this is how I think it should be, and have the author be like, I agree with you, or is the author just simply, I don't want it that way, I want it this way, and do it that way, or else?
most authors I've worked with in the children's, I would say most authors are ready to sort of hand over a little bit of creative license, and they aren't so nitpicky. Now, if you post a book on ACX and you get a lot of auditions, once you've chosen the right voice and the right storyteller for your book, there is always a time where you narrate a chunk of it and you send it to the author and say, how am I doing?
Mhm.
Is this what you're thinking? Is this what you're feeling? Is this what you're wanting to hear? And there's times to make tweaks to that for sure. And I
Mhm.
welcome those. I welcome those tweaks. Um, some authors are more picky than others, just
Yeah.
like
Right.
anybody on with their.
Yeah. It's just like, we publish a lot of children's books, and
Mhm.
some of the authors are way, way pickier about the illustrations than others.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
like,
It's their
uh,
baby. It's their
yeah,
baby.
it
And
is, and they
mhm.
see it a certain way, and they wanna see it
Yeah.
on the page the way that they see it in their head.
And I try to honor that as much as
Mhm.
possible because I know
Yeah,
as a writer myself and as a creative how much heart and soul and heartbreak and
that's
editing
right.
and
Yes.
revising and going back to the drawing board. I know how much is in that
Mhm,
process.
mhm.
And for them to finally have gotten it to where they are going to have illustrations or an audiobook narrator. And I have to say, I want to plug in here. Children's books need music. They
Agreed.
just do. They
Yeah,
just do.
yeah.
Children children love sound effects and music. It
Mhm,
creates this vivid world for them that
mhm,
I love capturing in an audiobook recording, working with someone to do the music and which I've
yeah,
done many times. But it's an important thing, I think, for them.
Agreed. And with the book coming out that I'm doing right now, and I've done a whole bunch of research into this and what makes children's books even more fun, especially for narration and animation, is adding words like whoosh and
mhm,
crumble and sound effect words, the onomatopoeia words that
Mhm.
mhm.
add to the story for children to actually hear that and then go envision it and then add to that story where
Yeah.
a narrator is going to be able to get that in. And with the, for instance,
Mhm,
with one of the pages, the whoosh is the wind coming in that's
mhm.
bringing in the storm that's going to fly curiosity off to another town. So
Yes.
that whoosh isn't just going to be a simple whoosh, it's going to be a whoosh.
Yeah.
And to
And
add that to it,
and I don't know how many authors use music as inspiration. I know I do. I use music a lot. I wrote a story called 25 Hawks to Grandma's House over COVID. And I listened to Ravel. I listened to
nice.
so much Ravel because I think it was creating this little bit of a dreamy, because in my book there's a little bit of a dream time, and it was creating this suspended dream feel.
Mhm.
And I, as a narrator, I love having that as an inspiration because I know how I would narrate it. I would
Yeah.
narrate it softer and slower and
Mhm,
not not no kiddo wants sweet saccharine. And that's
mhm.
one thing that I think we have to be really careful with kids in narration, is that kids don't like all the sweet little things. They don't like to be talked down to, and they don't like lessons all the time.
Yeah.
So even if you have a book that seems super sweet or saccharine or has a very good moral lesson, a narrator can bring out those tender parts of the book without talking down to them. And they can also narrate the message in a real authentic way.
Yeah.
That leaves room for the kids to have discovery too, not just here's the lesson. So
Yes.
music plays, I don't know, I think music plays a very big role in the inspiration, for me at least. And sometimes I will find when I get a script, if I've got an idea of what the music would be, if I were to do music, I will listen to that music while I narrate.
Oh, nice.
And that's always really helpful to me. Helps me settle into a world.
Do you get to use your cello on your own projects to incorporate into your voiceovers?
Yes. So sometimes I will do like, I'm doing a really sweet little book, and it's about building a treehouse, and they're fairies, and I can't remember the author's name right at the moment. If I wasn't on here, I'd be able to tell you. I will remember here in a second.
No.
Anyway, I've connected with her, the author, and said, "Hey, I would love to live narrate your book in a bunch of my library story times. Do you mind?" And she was like, "No, I love that. Send me videos, send me pictures." And so for that specific book, I did a whole little, sort of like a little promo, and narrated a part and said, "Hey, come to this story time. You're going to hear this book." And so I'll do a lot of cello on that. Now I just co-composed a music for a book for Scholastic, and it's a beautiful book by Nell Cross Beckerman called Forests. And it is an amazing book, just so beautiful, and it takes you into all the different worlds of forests. So underwater kelp forests, the monarch butterfly forest in Mexico, a very mysterious Polish forest. And in those, we were able to really expand and truly create these underwater sounds with some Foley. So Foley are sound effects, and it was almost it was very, very exciting for me as a musician. I didn't narrate that. Another incredible voice actor narrated it. So I got to be on the music side of it. And that is something I think every creative, when you hear something in your head and you're able to get it out and you feel like, that was it.
Right.
That was it.
Yeah.
And it took several weeks, like working together and finding, doing a lot of playing around and missing the mark. But I'm very excited for that book to come out. I don't know exactly when that's coming out, but.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
So how far out are you booked? I know we've probably got people out there in the audience that are going, "Oh my, I can't hardly wait to get in touch with her."
Oh, please do. I have some interesting projects coming up. But I love to, since audiobooks is not the only thing I do, I have other projects that sort of take me. I just encourage people to reach out to me, and let's have a conversation, because some of it is, if you have a longer book, I may need to, look ahead, and I don't like to drag out a narration for too long. So if it's a longer book, I like to book out a week.
Yeah.
And really chunk that in, because then it keeps me in the flow of that book, in the world of that book. But if I have some weeks that I'm, semi busy, I'm also a mom. So if I've got a lot of family things, but I've, children's books, I can usually record pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And then if we want sound effects and all of that, I'm happy to do those too. Those are great. Those are so fun.
Yeah.
Growing up, I used to watch the behind the scenes on the DVDs of like Toy Story.
Oh yeah.
And they would always show the actors in the studio and doing the voices, and a lot of times they would do like the big hands while they're acting, while they're doing the voice.
Yes.
Is that something that you do when you do your narration?
Yes. Some I have to be careful not to like blow out the mic or bump the mic. In one of the series of books, I had a cow, And she's my favorite character, Mrs. Wiggins. And she was all over the place. Well, I tell you what. But that was different. That was different than the little rats. And the little rat, So for the rat, I make myself really small. And he talks like this. And so my body gets really small. And I squish up my face to do his voice. But Mrs. Wiggins is a big fat cow. And she lives large. And so, yes, she... So there is something that happens when you get into a character. You take on their little quirks. The little whispery spiders. There's lots of air in your voice, and they're not very loud. So you just kind of let it come out, and like that.
Love that. Love it. Now, do you ever record yourself doing that by a camera? Because that would be some amazing behind the scenes.
So I have some behind the scenes stuff on my Instagram. Yeah, I try to every once in a while I'll post like fun, creatively written scenes that just get me. They just are so fun. I try to post some of those because I don't know, watching people be joyful in their work is something that is so great for me. I have sort of this, like many of us, a love-hate relationship with social media. So if I can post things that give me a giggle, or like pass on, hey, here's the behind the scenes for this little scene. It's so good. Take a listen. Or, I'm really proud of this. Or this author, go check out their books. So good. Encouraging other people, I think, is something that I love to do behind the scenes too. So
yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Now, do you ever listen to somebody else's narration and be like, man, they missed the mark on that, or wow, that was absolutely incredible. Maybe I should incorporate some of that into my stuff here.
Oh, I think absolutely. Well, one thing you can hear AI. You can start to hear AI narration, which some people are using. And I get it. People want to try to cut corners, and not pay very much for an AI or for a real voice. But I tell you, for children's content, I just don't think you can. I mean, I would not advocate for anyone to use an AI narrator at all. I have so many incredible narrator friends that are just such good actors. And I, every once in a while you hear a piece that you're like, they're not as connected. I can tell they're maybe not as connected, or not even a great nonfiction. Sean Pratt is a brilliant nonfiction narrator, and I have several female friends that are preferred to do nonfiction, and even in those, you as a narrator, you're really, really imagining you're talking to a good friend. And you're telling him about this, or explaining something, or walking him through something. Like, it's a very much an imaginary thing you have to conjure up. Same thing for children's book. You have to know who you're narrating to. So
I would think you could do. Think you're doing a TED Talk if you're doing the nonfiction, and speaking to the crowd like that, and envisioning that kind of a situation.
And with the microphone, you're really up close. You're in someone's ear when you're doing an audiobook. You're not very far, so you don't have to push. Several coaches of mine we've talked about, don't push the river. Don't try to push the river. Just let the river flow. So let the narration flow. You don't have to push it.
Yeah.
But I have heard, I have heard some narration. I'm like, okay, it was good. And then other ones, just knock your socks off. It's true. You lose the sense of, you're suspended a little bit in a really good narration. You're just drawn into that world. And I just know how much that takes for a narrator to do that. And it's always, I'm always inspired by other creators.
When I listened to audiobooks in the car, so I was driving, it was exactly, for me, like watching a movie while I'm driving, because it would form pictures, and I would have all of the scenes, and I'm sure it was slightly distracted driving, but I could do two things at one time.
Yeah, of course. Yes, you can.
And it was just, something that made the drive go, made me look forward to it. Otherwise, who's going to look forward to a 2-hour drive a day? It's not something you look forward to unless you've got a Scott Brick novel to listen to.
I know. He's so juicy.
Tom
He makes him
Reed
juicy.
stuff,
Yeah.
and Jack
Yeah.
Reacher, and Tom, can't think of his name, the other author. Anyway, some really
Mhm.
excellent stories, and
Yeah.
it's like movies.
It is. It's so, I mean, I think, and for kids to do that, I heard a wonderful thing on NPR the other day, and I caught the very last of it. So I wasn't super clear on what the whole conversation was, but it was really, the thing that resonated most was that opportunity is not spread evenly across for our kids. And that is something that's really important to me, and has been as a musician and a storyteller, is that I get into schools that those kids may not have the opportunity to see a live musician anytime soon.
True.
And I did a lot of thinking the other day about, so I want to give them the opportunity to experience live music and live storytelling and hear what a storyteller can do and the power of storytelling.
Mhm.
And having that music world building. But I was like, okay, so what do I want them to walk away with? Do I want them to walk away with a music instrument? No, I don't really want them to be so excited they go home and ask for a piano lesson. That'd be great. That's great. I love that. But that's not really what I wanted them to do. And so then I said, okay, do I want them to be little writers? No. Yes, great. If you want to be a little writer, and of course in your classroom, you're encouraging that. So yeah, that's also there. But I think what I wanted to do is to show them that art can create this whole world for you in your imagination, and
Mhm.
to let them sort of be suspended in this magical thing of art for 45 minutes that we co-create together. I can't create it without them. I need them. I use them as the audience to help me tell the stories a lot of the time.
Mhm.
And I wanted a moment to where a musician or a performer and the audience, there is no divide, that they are immersed in me and I'm immersed in them. Like it's this suspended feeling, because I think that feeling, you take that feeling into your real life, and somehow it becomes a part of you. And that may look like they become a great engineer, or they become a little kinder sister, or however it plays out. Who am I to say how it plays out for them? But I just wanted to create these little magical moments of connectedness with us. And I was like, when I realized that, I thought, oh, that's what I'm doing. That's what I want to do. And that's what I want to do as a narrator and as a musician, just all of that connectedness.
As creatives, and only creatives know this, but there are moments when you're being creative that time stops. There is no hours, minutes, seconds. You are lost in your creativeness, and you are writing, or you're drawing, or you're whatever your creative is, pottery, whatever. And when you're done in that moment, and you step back from it, you go, "Wow, how much time has gone by?"
That
And
flow.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
Sorry, Steve, I didn't interrupt you.
oh no, that's exactly it. And that's part of the
Stop
reason
your
why
flow.
we call ourselves shine, is because that's what we call the shine, is that when you're in that moment of creativity.
Mhm.
And to be able to, I can see with your voice and your narrations that you can bring other people now into that shine so that they can feel it. I'm sure one of the greatest compliments a kid can give you is, "I didn't realize the time went by so quick."
Well, if I can tell you a little story from one of my story times.
Of course.
And I'll do these story times for, whether there's 10 kids or 200 kids. They don't really vary a ton. It's my cello and me, a microphone, a story, and sometimes I have my looper with me. So I will play and I'll loop music while I'm playing. And so I'm in this little group of kids, and a lot of the times I will start with warming up their imagination. So we turn on our imagination, we need our nose, we need our ears, we need our eyes, you need to rub your chest, rub your belly, warm up our bodies to think. And then I start creating sounds with the cello. And what do you hear? What kind of animal do you hear? And then I have to sort of create like a little story along with me. And this was a little story. We went underwater and we were on a boat. And I had them, so I'm playing my cello and we're on a boat and the waves are splashing. And I say, is it sunny or is it a stormy day or is it a sunny day? It's sunny outside. Okay. All right. Are the waves big or are they small? So they start to create this world and they get really invested in it. And I said, okay, put your snorkels on. We're going underwater. Put your whole gear on. Put your flippers on. 1, 2, 3. And everybody takes a breath. Oh, their imagination is so in it. They take a breath and they go down. And we're swimming with the fish. And I said, let's go deeper. We go a little deeper. We swim with other fish deeper. And we go all the way at the bottom. And then I say, you've got a flashlight in your backpack, in your water pack. Get your flashlights out. And we get our flashlights out. We look in these little caves. And they're just mesmerized. And there's nothing there except their imagination, right? But they are consumed. And then I say, oh, you guys, look up. And so I said, let's look up at the very surface of the water. And several of the kids go, oh, it's so beautiful. And so their little reactions to these little beautiful little tender moments are not from me. They are the ones creating it. And so that's what I mean. Like a lot of people say kids' attention spans are shorter. I don't see that in these story times. And I think part of the problem is our content that we give kids.
Yeah.
The content versus attention. I don't know. I don't see when you engage children, you can hold their attention. And, they will be more creative than I will be. They will come up with things that I never thought of. And that will shape my creativity and will shape me and shape the next story time I do. So I take their little authentic reactions so seriously. I take them home with me for sure.
I love that. I want to see one of your schools. What do you call them? Outings, functions?
Yeah, I do like visiting artist kind of work, where I go in and do a lot.
Yeah. Are there any? Do you have a YouTube channel? Are there any videos?
I don't. My whole career, I have so much. I have almost 35 years of this stuff. I've never done a YouTube. I should. I really should start really uploading this stuff.
Yes.
I'm very respectful of authors. So as long as an author is, Erin, yes. Unless it's my own story, then I can totally post whatever. But I do need to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I especially, the story times with the children, to have someone else stand back and or maybe a couple of different people, even just with their phones, get video of you. And
I'll
of
do
the
pictures.
reactions of the children.
I do pictures. I've posted several pictures, and I'm also really mindful of not posting children. So a lot of the time, it's hard to hear, as much. But but I do have some. I do have some on there, and especially when I do an art activity after the story time, and I'll post a lot of their art that they do.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
We have a question from one of our audience members, Dan. What was it like recording for Out of Exile?
Oh, yeah.
How do you capture cinematic emotion with just a cello compared to when you're shrinking small like a mouse or like a boisterous cow?
Oh, you're sweet, Dan. Thank you. Thank you for the question. Out of Exile was very cool. So, recording for a film, sometimes, so I work with a wonderful film score composer named Corey Perschbacher. And sometimes we won't get a whole lot at the very beginning. And we don't really have a scene that we're working with. Sometimes we do, but we know the tone. And so we will really start to play with themes. And so I'll lay down a bunch of cello, just a bunch of cello stuff, single lines, tremolos that are really intense and sort of anxiety provoking. I play a lot with thinking like what the atmosphere is. Is it foggy? Is it smoky? Did someone die? Did someone just get shot? Is someone running? But you want the scene to slow down into slow motion. All of these things, like Corey and I, the composer and I, will really sit with. I'm like, you know what? Let's try this. Let's just try this. And so I'll lay down a lot. And then when Corey starts getting actual footage, or the directors are getting a little bit more involved, then we start to tweak things. But Out of Exile was very cool, and I've got some more work with Corey coming up. But capturing cinematic stuff is really very similar for me as capturing the worlds of children's literature. It's about world building. It's just immersing yourself in that world. But Out of Exile is dark, and so we opted for some, and there's a real sense of loneliness in there too. I don't know if Dan, if you would agree, but and so trying to capture some of that was tricky, but really, really powerful, I think.
That sounds phenomenal.
Yeah.
That was excellent way to
Cinematic
answer that.
emotion with just a cello. Yeah. Yeah. It's the power of one. There is a scene, not in this movie, actually in The Crown. There is a scene in The Crown where the king is in a circle of priests. And the priests it's sort of like a group therapy setting. And there the king is about to speak. And the only thing in the background, and I'm almost 100% positive because I've gone back and listened to this. I might be wrong. It might be a tweaking of something, but there's like one single violin note. And just that little sliver of music completely draws you into the scene in a different way than if there hadn't been music. And it is the power of one instrument and one note. It's just like Jaws. The Jaws theme is two notes. It's not the notes that are what creates it for you.
Right.
It's the silence in between the notes.
Mm-hmm.
And the variation of the silence. And so as a musician and a narrator, you do play with silence quite a bit.
Fantastic answer.
Yeah.
I want to go back to something that you had brought up about AI.
Yeah.
And AI it's around. It's going to be around. There's no regulations on it. There's no any kind of stopping it. And there's a lot of people that use it. I use it a lot for my animations. As you can see, a lot of my backgrounds here, a lot of it was created with using AI. How I personally feel about it for the animation aspect of things was that I couldn't afford the $20,000 to $30,000 to create the animation through a studio.
Yeah.
But it's my characters, so I'm the one that created the characters. I'm the one that wrote the story. I'm the one that made their personalities and put it in through AI to gain these animations.
Yeah.
When it all comes down to it, I probably have 1,200 animations that I'm only going to use maybe 250 of them to create what I need to create for my 20-minute episode. When it comes to voice generation, though, I have come to find out that AI cannot create that emotion, cannot create that draw of there needs to be a pause right here and your voice needs to go up an octave to say the next line, or it needs to go down 2 octaves to say this line. And that's why I don't think AI will ever be able to touch a voiceover artist. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I agree. You know, there is a lot of our National Association for Voice Actors, NAVA, has done a lot of work to start laying the ground floor on protecting voices, which is very, very important. So I really tip my hat to them because they have done an amazing amount, and the Voice Actors Guild, or SAG has done a lot of work too, for actors, and so it's a very tender subject. But as far as performance, yes, I don't feel like, even as AI is getting better and better and better, I have heard some very good AI lately. I'm like, gosh, that is an AI voice. It's starting to have some emotion, but it's just not, I don't feel like it's ever going to have that little bit of rawness that a real voice does, whether it's a little vocal fry or I mean, just to capture the human quality of if a mother dies.
Right.
How does an AI even attempt to capture that? And how would a little girl say in a book, I felt so alone? How can an AI ever capture that? So
Absolutely. And it's those moments that AI will never be able to capture because it plays with heartstrings, and without heart, you can't play at those heartstrings.
I also think it is also for creatives, that's really important for us to talk about the behind the scenes work that goes on. A lot of my students, when I was teaching, would love to know, like, behind the stage and behind the curtains, what's happening. There's a whole life of people bringing something together to create for you. That is such an incredible thing to learn about what goes into a creative performance. And it's a lot of misses and tries and da-da-da. And that is part of children's resilience learning. Nothing is ever perfect. But man, knowing other creatives are missing the beat sometimes, or not playing in tune, or narrators are on it. So for us as a creative to say, hey, here's one of the takes that did not go well. That really shows the human side of creativity. And to me, that is just as beautiful as the final product. And AI, there is no creativity in that. There's no breath in it. There's no living, breathing breath. So.
Now, your equipment was another thing I wanted to get into.
Yeah.
Is your equipment important, or is?
Yes.
I know there's people out there that will say it needs to be a Shure, it needs to be a Tectonic, or it needs to be this, or it needs to be that. So
yeah. Well, before any of this stuff, because you can have a Shure SM7B and do pretty well. That was my first microphone that I ever worked on, was a Shure SM7B. And it was fine. What is the most important is your space. Is the treatment of your space, because I have heard people try to record in their kitchens or, so I started in my closet. My husband and I cleared out a part of our walk-in closet. I started there. And was it the best space? No, but it got me started. And like anything, to create the perfect thing is going to be so paralyzing. Just start. Just do it. Invest in a little bit of equipment that can get you going. Now, for people who want to narrate their own books, there are very special requirements that you have to have to get your book on Audible.
Right. That's right.
Those are very specific. So you have to have some technology acuity. You have to sort of know what those metrics are to be able to do that. So that can all unfold, and there's a gazillion people out there. And Stephen, I'm happy to send you some stuff after this, that if people reach out to you and want to know, I'm happy to put together a list of audiobook sound editor, sound mixers, those kinds of things. They're magic people to me, because I send all my stuff raw to them. So I don't do all of my own sound mixing. I do some, depending on the book, but a lot of times I send it out.
Yeah, I narrated my memoir, and I worked with a sound editor that was really good. But Yes, there are some really very specific requirements, and they are different for the different distributors. The audio ACX for Audible is different from like Authors Republic and some of the other places that you can distribute your audiobooks. So if you are interested in doing that and want to record your own book, I would encourage people to give that a shot and see how it goes. But you'll need some help, I think, for most people in this. They're really good. It's already technically inclined and understand, the requirements of sound quality, sound editing.
They are engineers, sound
Yeah,
engineers. They're
they
so
are.
good. They're so
Yeah,
good.
they
And
are.
they really do take into consideration your mic, your space,
Mhm.
your narrating, your tone, and
Yes.
they treat it. So
Mhm.
my narration will be treated differently than Stephen's or Susan or
Mhm.
yours. And that's
Right.
what is so magical about their ear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. And the technology of where we've come from to where we are now is amazing, especially
Yeah.
with cinematic quality. I mean, you can get cinematic quality sound now from your home with software that's been developed, and it's just amazing the whole process.
And my husband laughs like I am the most non-techie person. But I've had to be. I think we all kind of have had to be more techie.
Mhm.
And so,
Yeah.
but I know where my cliff is. And I just don't want to fall off the cliff and I just hand it over. And that
Uh-huh.
is some of what a creative has to do is learn when to collaborate,
Yeah.
when to get
Right.
feedback, when to collaborate. It's such a pivotal moment, I think, for creatives to go, all right, I've done all I can. Now I need help.
Yeah.
And because if you don't, you will sit there and spin that vicious circle around and around and around, and you'll never get your book done.
Mhm.
Agreed.
And it's the
Agreed.
same thing with a narrator, picking a narrator or being too picky about the narrator. It's like sometimes you can just get wrapped in the cycle and
Uh-huh.
get your book out there to
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
That is some amazing advice. Which leads me to my next question. What is the best advice you've ever received?
Oh my gosh. The best advice I've ever received. You know, it's such a biggie, Stephen. I could say lots of things, but I think the thing that I'm landing on the most right now is that creating from a place of lack is different than creating from a place of abundance and wholeness. And I don't mean that to sound woo-woo. I've spent a lot of my career not feeling good enough, not feeling talented enough, not feeling prepared enough. And I would go and do these performances. I'd write that children's book. I'd do that kid's story. And I would never feel a sense of like, oh, that was so good. Like I would sometimes, it wasn't enough. So I'd go out and find the next project, the next thing to do. And I became sort of a serial projector. So I've done a lot in my career. What I feel sad about is that I didn't allow myself to create. I was always creating from a little bit of a sense of lack, of not being good enough. Maybe this one, I'll be good enough. Maybe this one. And I've just realized and sort of embodying this part of me that is, I am already whole. I am already good enough. I have everything I want. I'm breathing in this beautiful world of children's content. There's nothing about being perfect. And so creating from that sense of abundance of already so much love and joy, and that is changing my performances. And I can sort of sit there and say, okay, that was lovely. That was so good. Because now it's more about collaboration. It's more about the kids. It's more about than my performance as a cellist or my performance as a narrator. So I think the biggest piece of advice is landing on this sense of you are a unique person and you do not need to be like anybody else. In fact, if you are like anybody else, you're missing you. You're totally missing out on you. So write the stories that are truly from your heart. And then any advice you get from anybody else, it's just their advice. It's just their words. Don't try to be anybody else, or don't try to create from a sense of you're not good enough. Even a little sense. No, go be your weird, wacky, funny self. Go be.
Oh, it's
I
so
had
good.
an author tell me, Stephen, one time she wanted to be funnier. She always wrote these books that were so tender and darling, and she just wanted to be funnier. I was like, what's wrong with being tender and beautiful? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. So, okay, if you want to go be more funny and you want to study comedy and theater, go do that. But don't do it because you feel like you are lacking that there's something wrong with you because you can't write funny books. And so I think that's the thing, is that we come from a place of social media that tells us we're not good enough, or we don't have the creativity. So go be inspired by someone else, or watch them do this thing, or, oh man, no, we need diverse voices of every kind. And so it is really a settling into your own uniqueness that we need. We need that from everybody.
That was so good.
Well, it's taken me 50 years to figure this out.
That might be the best advice I've ever received now.
Yeah, that's really excellent.
I feel like we have a lot of, as creative people, we sit on the sidelines or in the stands a lot watching other people be creative. And we go, oh, we can't do that. So, I'm going to work really hard and try this other thing.
Oh, there's a lot of doubt that comes. Just
so much. But I think it just comes from doing the most authentic thing you can do to be you.
So good. One final question.
Yeah.
At the start of the year, we made New Year's resolutions to have more gratitude, be grateful for a lot more things, positive rather than we don't have that or we didn't do that. What are we grateful for? So, in continuing that tradition, what do you have gratitude for?
Oh man, so much. But I have to say, right at this moment, because for me, this is it. This is this moment. I'm really grateful for our community of children's authors and writers and content creators for kids. Like, I am so grateful, just grateful to get the chance to talk about art, talk about kiddos, talk about stories. Like, I'm really grateful for that. Truly, truly, deeply grateful to be able to share that with other people who also love it and find themselves wrapped in the dreaminess of writing kids' books and all the things and animation. Like, I'm grateful to have that community. So community. Long-winded way of saying community.
Before we go, is there anything you wish to share with our viewers about how they can get in contact with you, find out more about your books, voiceovers, programs, and get educated on any upcoming releases?
So a great way is to contact me through my Instagram, just Erin Yeaman. My website's like most creatives it's about to go under a sort of a redo. Right now, it's going to be under construction. I've got my cello site and I've got my voice acting site, but they're going to be blended because so much of what I do now is very blended. So, but you can go and hear some of the stuff on my sites, ErinYeaman.com and ErinYeamanVO.com, which I know is a little irritating, but not for long. I'm going to fix that. And then, and yes, I do post upcoming stuff on my Instagram. Some, yeah.
And we'll post that. We'll post that on this post, as well as the shorts that are coming out and on YouTube.
Right on. So exciting what you're doing.
Erin, that was so much fun. I want to thank you. You and I have been talking back and forth for a little while now.
Yes,
we
true.
Finally made it happen. And I think that you and I are going to work together on a lot of things coming up in the future.
Absolutely, I'm very excited about a lot of the things we've talked about.
I think Susan has her mind going up there. I see those. You heard all her voices, and we're just like, that is the voice of, and that is the voice of, and I totally heard it. This whole interview was just picturesque of those types of things.
Well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. When I get a chance to talk about, I had an artist friend said, Erin, it's just so nice to talk to another dreamer. I'm like, yeah, we're not just dreamers though. We're doers. Turning those dreams into reality, is a skill too. So it's very much like what you guys do. You're helping bring people's dreams, letting them share about their dreams and helping them figure out ways to bring those to reality, to
Yes.
fruition is so important.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And people love talking about their dreams and
They do. And
what
we
they've
all should.
accomplished.
Yes. And what they want to accomplish, what they're grateful for. Yeah. It's a space that's so good. Such a good space.
Exactly. Always positive. All right. Well, thank you, Erin, for coming on. Hang out in the green room for a few moments while we wrap up the show.
Okay. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
That was fun.
That was really different.
That was. We've never had a voiceover. And just the
No.
mannerisms, the expressions, the
It's a
ability to go up and down.
Her a whole nother creative area that I hadn't really thought that much about. It's amazing, what she's done and how she's accomplished it. And I am really in awe of what she's doing and how she's doing it.
And she's bringing Hallmark more money because I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy that witch.
Yeah.
Just so I can be like, that's my friend. That's my friend.
Yes, I could see you doing that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, I want to thank everybody out there for tuning in on your Sunday evening to another episode of Shine with Curiosity and Encouragement podcast. Be sure to join us next week for another episode, and have a wonderful and amazing week. Is there anything you want to say before we wrap this up, Susan?
Thank you, all you loyal listeners. And I know Dan is out there, our very loyal listener. And so he apparently really enjoyed this one too. He said, I'm so grateful, so grateful, so grateful. Susan Craigville asked me to tune in today. So I'm glad that he tuned in. And I think we're going to have quite a few. I kept thinking throughout this episode, there are going to be a lot of shorts that are going to get a lot of views. This was a good one. Yeah,
there was definitely a lot of shorts there that are going to come out that are just fun, and I'm convinced that Erin definitely has to be a part of some of our voiceover projects that we got coming up.
Yes,
I think she's wonderful and so much fun to work with, man. It just wow.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in this week and have a wonderful, safe week. And I don't know, I guess we look forward to who we have on next week.
Yes. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.
Ever dreamed of seeing your name on the cover of a book? As a book publisher, we understand the challenges of self-publishing. If you're lost in the process, wondering about illustrators, book coaches, or formatting issues, worry not. At Soul Sunshine, we're here to guide you. Let's turn your dream into reality. Contact us to get started.